the big things that's been in the news, obviously, is the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which, as a lot of us know or feel, it very much does not do that, and in fact takes us in the wrong direction as far as inflation goes. But just wanted to know if you could talk to us a little bit about that piece of policy and what some of the concerns you have, and then let's follow it up and talk about what can we do. So.
Yeah, the Democrats really are so good at coming up with good propaganda names. I mean, the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, actually the Congressional Budget Office said it increases inflation in the short term and has a negligible effect over 10 years, which is the scorecard kind of that we look at in terms of that. And, you know, it really does. It doubles down on the problems that started last year with President Biden's first 100-day victory of the ARPA and basically starting to spend more money. And what we've seen instantly since then is just inflation's taken off. And so this so-called Inflation Reduction Act, I mean, waste money on a lot of things. For example, they're hiring 87,000 more IRS agents.
Wow.
So there's 90,000 now. So thinking about that it's basically going to be the size of the U.S. Marine Corps if they hired all of those.
Wow.
And it put restrictions. Only 4% of that $80 billion that's in that is going to go towards customer service. So when the phones are only answered 18% of the time now, when people can't get their tax returns completed, when their security at the IRS is so lax that they've allowed 120,000 people's confidential information to get out into public, they're still not putting the money into that. Right. And instead they're looking at how do they politicize this effort. And they say they're not going to increase audits. I mean, that's part of their stick is they're not going to increase audits on middle class folks, but they're basically put the requirement in place that they go through with audits the same way they do now.
Right.
And they'd have to increase audits on people making more than $400,000 by more than 30 times the current rate in order to raise as much money as they say they're going to raise, and decline the number of people that they do audits on the middle class. And it's false advertisement is really what it is. And unfortunately, the American people are going to suffer through it. I mean, we've already seen the IRS be used as a political pawn in the past, particularly when the last time that now President Biden was Vice President Biden and the Obama administration, politicizing the people that had different political views or different businesses, different parties. And so it's really a sad way to run the country, is using the IRS as a political tool.